இளைப்பு விடாய் தீர்த்தேனோ நம்பாடுவான் போலே, இடைக்கழியில் கண்டேனோ முதலாழ்வார்களை போலே, இரு மன்னர் பெற்றேனோ வால்மீகியை போலே, இருமாலேந்தேனோ தொண்டரடி பொடியார் போலே, அவன் உரைக்க பெற்றேனோ திருக்கட்சியார் போலே, அவன் மேனியானேனோ திருப்பாணர் போலே, அனுப்பிவையும் என்றேனோ வசிஷ்டரை போலே, அடி வாங்கினேனோ கொங்கிற் பிராட்டியை போலே.
இளைப்பு விடாய் திரிந்தேனோ நம்பாடுவான் போலே. In Sri Varaha Purana, the Lord tells Bhumi Devi the greatness of singing His glories and the benefits that it delivers to the devotee. This is known as Kaisika Mahatmyam, and in it is the story of the devotee Nampaduvan who sang the Lord's praise all the time. In south of India, near the Kshira river, was Shuddhashrama. Here, a low-caste person would come every day early in the morning from a long distance and sing the Lord's glories. He did this for several years. Sri Varaha called him Mama Gayaka, and therefore his name in Tamil became Nampaduvan. One time, in the month of Kartika, on Shukla Paksha Dwadasi, he stayed awake in the night and left very early to go and sing the praises of the Lord. On the way, a Brahmarakshas caught him and wanted to eat him. Nampaduvan requested the Brahmarakshas to let him go so that he can go and finish his prayers. He promised that he would return and allow himself to be eaten. Nampaduvan went to Thirukkulur, blissfully sang for the Lord and returned as promised. The Brahmarakshas was actually a Brahmin called Soma Sharma in his previous birth. Because of a sin committed during a yaga, he was born as Brahmarakshas. Upon his ardent request, Nampaduvan agreed to give him the fruit of his singing one song praising the Lord sung in the Kaisika meter. Receiving that, the Brahmarakshas was liberated and was reborn in a good family and finally attained moksha. Did I sing and liberate someone from the samsara like Nampaduvan did? Thirukkolur Ammal asks. இடைக்கழியில் கண்டேனோ முதல் ஆழ்வார்களைப் போலே. By the causeless mercy and grace of the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana, the first three of the Alvars, Poigai Alvar, Bhudatta Peyalvar, descended to this world. By divine will, they happened to meet in Thirukkolur on a rainy night and passed their time huddled in the vestibule of a small house, the ashram of sage Mrukhantu. The first to arrive was Poigai. As he was resting, Bhudattalvar arrived and requested for some space to stay. Poigai Alvar replied, "This place is limited for one to lie down and for two to be seated," and invited Bhudattalvar. Then arrived Peyalvar and sought shelter. Poigai said, "This place is limited for one to lie down, for two to be seated, and can fit if three of us stay standing." Welcomed by Poigai and Bhudattalvar, Peyalvar got in to stand with the other two. Desiring the company of these three Mahatmas, the Lord arrived and invisibly caused a congestion in the crowded place. Inspired by the way of inquiring the invisible cause of congestion, Poigai Alvar sang, "The earth is my lamp, the ocean is the oil, and the radiant sun the flame. I offer this garland of songs at the lotus feet of the discus-bearing Lord, that we may cross the ocean of misery." Then Bhudattalvar continued, "Love is my lamp. eagerness is the oil. My heart is the wick. Melting myself, here I light a lamp and offer this garland of knowledge to the Holy Lord Narayana. The next outpouring of nectarine wisdom came from Peyalvar. I behold now my ocean-hued Lord with his consort, with the radiance of the brilliant sun. He wields a fiery discus and a conch in his hands. An awe-inspiring incident. The significance of this divine meeting is also to bring out a strong message to all of us. The first 3 verses of these Alvars bring out the process of attaining the Lord in a particular order, namely knowledge, devotion, and vision. The first Alvar stresses the need for the divine knowledge. The second teaches how that knowledge should transform into devotion. And the third Alvar confirms the presence, vision, and attainment of the Lord as the fitting finale. Irumannar Petreno Valmikiyai Pole. Did I do service to the Lord, and did I bring up the 2 princes like Valmiki did? Asks Thirukkolur Ammal. Here, the reference is to how the sage nourished and groomed the 2 sons of Rama, Lava and Kusha, with loving care. Irumalai Indeno Tondaradippudiyar Pole. Tondaradippudiyalvar lived in Srirangam, and just like Periyalvar at Srivilliputtur, he too maintained a garden and performed service to the Lord, making beautiful garlands and presenting them to Lord Ranganatha every day. The word Iru in this statement of Thirukkolur Ammal has 2 meanings. One is great and the other is 2. If used in the first sense, then we can say that Alvar provided wonderful flower gardens to the Lord. They were great because Alvar considered himself as just dust under the feet of Bhagavatas. That is why he was called Tondar Adippodi in Tamil. He gave the garlands only as pure service to the Lord. Also, Alvar wrote amazing pasurams singing the glories of the Lord. 2 garlands made out of priceless words, Thirumalai and Thiruppalliyezhuchi. Thirukkolur Ammal is asking, did I provide the Lord with such great garlands as Tondaradippudiyalvar did? Avanuraikka Petreno Thirukkacciyar Pole. Sri Kanchipurna, also called Thirukkachi was born in a family of merchants. When his father once gave him a large sum of money for business, Thirukkachi spent all of it in the service of the Lord and his devotees. With his mind totally on the Lord and not on business, he left for Srirangam, where he became the disciple of Swami Alavandar. Later, as per his Acharya's order, he returned to Kanchi and started doing the fan service to Varadaraja Perumal. He was so blessed that many a times when the 2 were alone, Lord Varadaraja would converse with him. Swami Ramanuja, who espoused the cause of equality of all, irrespective of caste, gender or social status in determining one's relationship with God, accepted Kanchipurna, who was not a Brahmin, as his guru. It was Thirukkachi who requested Lord Varadaraja to provide clarifications to Ramanuja's 6 doubts. The 6 replies obtained through Thirukkachi from the Lord are: Number 1, Sriman Narayana is the Supreme Paramatman. Number 2, the individual souls are distinct but inseparable from Paramatma and are subservient to him. Number 3, complete surrender, that is Prapatti or Sharanagati, is the means to salvation. Number 4, moksha will be attained by one who has surrendered to the Lord at the end of his birth. Number 5, one who has surrendered, remembrance of the Lord at his deathbed is not mandatory. Number 6, Ramanuja should take refuge with Mahapurna, that is Periyanambi, who will be his first Acharya. Thirukkolur Ammal is asking, did I have the fortune of conversing with the Lord like Thirukkachirambi did? Avanmeniyaneno Tiruppanar Pole. Tiruppanalvar was born in a field in Urayur near Srirangam. He grew up as a part of a low-caste clan of singers. As he was not permitted to enter the temple, he would stand on the banks of river Kaveri on the other side of Srirangam with a veena in his hand and sing the praises of Lord Ranganatha. One time, when a devotee of Lord Ranganatha called Lokasaranga Muni, who was fetching water from river Kaveri, found Tiruppanalvar in a trance. In order to move Tiruppanalvar, who was blocking his way, he threw a stone at him and hurt him badly. When Lokasaranga Muni returned to the temple, the Lord commanded that he apologize to his great devotee, Tiruppanalvar, and bring him into the temple. Lokasaranga returned to Alvar and apologized to him for his conduct, briefed him on the Lord's command, and carried him all the way to the temple on his shoulders. Once inside the sanctum sanctorum, Tiruppanalvar burst out eloquently, singing the glories of the Lord, the magnificent Amalanadipiran. And at the end of 10 pasurams, Alvar bid adieu to this world and reached the lotus feet of Lord Ranganatha. Thirukkolur Ammal is lamenting on not being able to invoke Lord's grace like Alvar. Did I become the target of Lord's divine grace and attain his divine feet like Tiruppanalvar did? She says. Anuppiveyum endreno Vasishtarai pole. Here the reference is to sage Vasishta, the Kulaguru of King Dasharatha. Thirukkolur Ammal is wondering, like the great Brahma Rishi Vasishta, did I foresee all the benefits that would accrue to Lord Rama if he accompanies sage Vishwamitra to the forest and therefore support Vishwamitra's request to King Dasharatha? Adivangineno Kongipiratiyai pole. Here the phrase Adivangudal refers to requesting and receiving Acharya Padukas. Once Kongupirati, a housewife unable to comprehend the greatness and eminence of Swami Ramanuja, accosted him during one of his customary rounds for alms in Srirangam. Why would all the wealthy and powerful seek the blessings of somebody living on alms? Was the question that challenged her limited intellect. The spiritual effulgence of Swami, his compassion and teachings brought about a transformation in her as she realized the real meaning and value of life. Soon, Kongupirati, along with her husband, became ardent disciples of Swami Ramanuja, and she was also extremely fortunate to receive the padukas, that is divine footwear of her master, in recognition of her unwavering devotion. Several years later, when Swami Ramanuja, along with his disciples, visited her town en route to Tirunarayanapuram, that is Melkote, Kongupirati recounted her divine experiences in Srirangam and demonstrated her devotion and association to her master's lotus feet by showing the esteemed assemblage his divine padukas that was in her possession. And with utmost devotion, she honored all the Mahatmas by serving them food. We can see here Thirukkolur Ammal's intense craving for attaining Swami Ramanuja's grace. Did I have the fortune of receiving Acharya Padukas like Kongupirati did? She cries out of sheer devotion.